travel with me. Hey fellow humans, Mina here. Welcome back to another walk and talk video. It's as you can see, tank top season because it's now spring and the Canadian in me is hot. I still got like pants on, not shorts. Not shorts yet, although I have seen some Koreans wear shorts. Look at these pretty trees. They're so Asian. They're not in Canada. So I'm in a really pretty area because it's City Hall over there, so they got some pretty things, and I'm going to show you while we walk and talk because, you know, it's cool. Look at it's like, look how fluffy these hedges look. Like, don't they look fluffy? Like you just want to pet them or something? I don't know. Is that just me? I don't know. I want to pet the hedges. Actually, I was here earlier this morning, and I did pet. Actually, they are kind of fluffy, you know, for a hedge. Okay, enough hedge petting. This is the last video of March. So since it's still the novel release month, like, you know, the year since South came out, I thought I'd talk about South. But speaking of, by the way, when I talk in South about the fountain with the oddly shaped tree, that wasn't based off just tree. It was actually based off a tree where I went to college, and it actually looked quite similar to this. If you want to picture the oddly shaped tree by the fountain, look like that. So, fun fact, I discovered that when I was on the walk here this morning. And I would have filmed this morning, but I was on FaceTime with my mom while playing Pokemon, and it killed my phone. So I had to go back home and charge, and here I am again. So, yeah, also City Hall. That's not exciting. No, what's exciting is over here, and we got pretty flowers. This is mostly going to be a show you Korea video by the end of it. Because look, it's pretty Korean stuff. We like that. Yeah, that's not a temple or a shrine or anything. It's just there. Actually, I don't know. Actually, turtle-shaped steel of Unmae-dong. There's a plaque. The turtle must be that, because obviously that is not turtle-shaped. I'm not reading the plaque because I don't want to. But yeah. And also, this tree's pretty too. I'm sorry, I didn't even get to the topic of today's video yet. Although, if you've read the title of the video, I'm sure you probably already know. So we'll get to that because this is a pretty park, and I don't really come over here often because it's quite away from my home. And I just don't come here often. But it's pretty, and also, there's a statue of a lady. I don't know if you can see her, but you can sit next to the statue, I guess, if you want to. And there's a, whatever that is, statue. And also, since it's spring, we'll get to the topic in a second when I leave this area. Don't worry about it. It's not often I really get to show you some pretty Korea. Usually it's just like stores and buildings as I walk past. But I don't know how well you're going to see this. Try to get a good angle since I walk over here. The pretty flower season is happening. The trees are already blooming. The cherry blossoms haven't bloomed. Well, those are a type of cherry blossom, and they're almost at full bloom. The usual pink one everyone knows, those are budding right now. And there's a fancy building thing. And more trees blooming. Ain't it pretty, guys? Spring Korea is so pretty. Anyway, okay, we're gonna leave this area and actually get on the topic. So there you go, pretty things. Hope you enjoyed. So yeah, it's the month of South. The guy over there is singing songs to his headphones. Love that for him. I'm talking to a phone. Love that for me. But I'm actually really talking to you guys, my fellow humans. So anyway, it's still the month of South, at least for this last video. So we're gonna talk about the origins of South. Now, I've done that before. I've done a few videos on like how it started out as Silent Tears, it was gonna be a comic, and then it started out as a comic of South. But I'm gonna dive just a little bit deeper into that because we can, and because it's my channel and I can do what I want. So there's that. So I'll just dive a little bit deeper. So South, as you know, used to be Silent Tears, and I wrote the first volume. I believe I shared the animatic or the whole OG. Like, it starts off, Silent Tears starts off with 12-year-old Minami and how she loses all of her family. Because I mentioned before, Minami's the only one that stayed from OG days to now. Other characters, some came and left, others came and stayed, but like Minami was the only one that never got cut through all the versions. And am I gonna have to wait for this guy to pass? No, I'm just gonna go before. So it started off as Silent Tears, and she was a kid. It started off right when she was coming home from karate, actually, and then she discovers her family's been, well, originally it was a family reunion, and there was a house fire and they all died, and she was lucky because she was out, and that's how they all died. But then and then the story, the very first novel, actually Derek was like a bad guy. I mean, if you've read South, he's kind of a bad guy, but like he's a bad guy. In this one, he like murders someone. Derek actually hated Asians because his mom, we went on a trip to Japan, and his mom got shot while they were there, which is not something that would really happen in real life, because I mean, it is a possibility, but gun control is a lot better in Japan. And so anyway, he essentially became racist. And so he was trying to, this is the first volume of South. I've talked about it, but I didn't really, sorry, not South, Silent Tears. I've talked about it, but I didn't go into detail. And it really escalated in these 8 chapters that I wrote. I'm gonna cross the road. There's a traffic circle right there, so we're just trying not to get hit by cars. I've never taken you guys down this road, so you're welcome. Well, I have in bike footage, but you never in walking footage. Anyway, so Derek one day kidnaps Minami and her friend Kayla. Kayla's mentioned in South, but she doesn't have any lines, or she was just mentioned like one time. Anyway, because Kayla's half Japanese, and anyway, he kidnaps them and puts them in a shed, and Mark was his like cohort kind of thing. And he was going along with it. And there was also a guy named Tyler. Tyler was in the novel of South, but he got cut because he literally had no lines. And he was also useless. But the characters of Mark and Derek, personality obviously changed for South, especially Mark, the lovable goofball that he is. He would never do this, especially to Minami. But yeah, Mark helped Derek. They were like, yeah, go back to your own country. I wrote this like a long time ago, so yeah, it's super cringe. And then they throw eggs, and then Derek or Mark, I can't remember who, accidentally like throws one, probably not accidentally, throws a rock and hits her in the head, knocks her out. So they take her and they put her in an abandoned shed where Kayla is already there, and their other friends are like, hey, Minami and Kayla didn't show up for school, and everyone's like, and the principal is calling their parents. They're like, hey, just letting you know, your kid ditched school today, and everyone's worried. And so the twins, their friends, were like, we got to go find them. This is all first 8 chapters, and chapters are quite short, by the way, because it was comic scripts. But anyway, they eventually found where they were, and there's cops like looking for them now. But then, since the twins found Minami and Kayla, sorry if it's loud, there's like something going on here. Mark came back to free the captives because he started to feel bad, and then Derek shows up with a gun and some other random Asian kid who never gets a name. And Mark's like, you're taking this a little bit too far. that were just having fun, and then Derek's like, no, they all gotta die, and then he blasts off he just murders an unnamed Asian boy. And everyone's like, oh my god, and like everyone goes into shock, but Minami, who's seen death before, she gets really pissed after, and she's like, I never want to see death again, and she like takes this chain that she has around, like, because you know, back in the day you had those like chains on your belts kind of thing. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but I had one. It was cool. But anyway, because this was like 2006, and she takes that and she tries choking Derek, and then she's like, no, wait, you don't deserve to die. And then and as things are like heating up, and there's background stories of the other characters, and like how Minami saved Kayla when she was having an asthma attack kind of thing. This is one hell of a first volume. You can read them all online on DeviantArt, by the way. If I remember, I'll snag a link just so. Oh, I know where I should go, down this road or keep going the other road. I'll pause here for a second. But yeah, the cops come, and then they're all like, yay, we saved them. But and then Derek goes to jail, I assume. And then this was all like just the first volume, and I intended originally for it to go on until Miami got to college, and this is in high school for them. So yeah, and I had no idea where I was going. That was a hell of a first volume, and I started to write the second one, but I had no idea where to go from there because I just had this big ass climax. And we're gonna go down this road. Yeah. No, sorry, unflattering ankle, because my watch thinks I don't know why it thought we were not walking anymore. I mean, we were currently walking. Look at this decrepit building. We're just gonna cross. Anyway, cross back to where we were. So yeah, I didn't know where to go from there because I wanted to go to college and have Minami die at the end as a hero, I guess, in a school shooting. Even though school shootings aren't really a thing in Canada. But, you know, influenced by media. Fancy road, but you can't really tell. So, yeah, that was Silent Tears. And then, if you watch other videos, you know that I went to Japan, and then I got an idea how to revamp. I was gonna completely change Silent Tears, and I renamed it to a comic called Shattered, where it starts off as 6-year-old Minami, where the backstory word that Minami survives the earthquake, it starts off with that, which I wrote into a short story, as I mentioned in the last video. I can't remember. Anyway, which you can read the description down below. You can read those short stories. That background is now her legit background, how she survived the earthquake. It's called Aftershock if you want to read it. The links below. Ooh, some of the cherry blossoms have blossomed on this tree. I'm going to show you when we get there. Oh, it's super pretty. Why didn't I see this morning when I was FaceTiming my mom? I literally walked down this road. Can y'all see this? I don't know, it's really sunny. Look, it's pretty. I don't know if I can get up there. I don't even know if I'm showing it, but I hope you can see that. It's pretty. Nice. You do you. So yeah, pretty trees. Yay, we love that. How did I miss that this morning? Anyway, I never actually did write anything on Aftershock. I just had the concept and I just had designed the title. But then when I decided to do South, y'all know I was going to be a comic, and I did share some of the original comic, but this is super cute. This little, I'm trying to hide the license, this little cat thing hanging off the very dirty car. The original first few chapters of South were essentially Minami meets AJ, and AJ goes off to a party with Mandy. She got cut, as I mentioned in another video. So she meets Mandy's AJ's roommate. No, sorry, Stage's roommate, and Stage is Minami's classmate and college friend, and Mandy is AJ's classmate and friend, but they both got cut. So, I mean, they still exist in the world. They just don't appear in the story. But yeah, anyway, they go off to a party, and so Minami, after AJ kind of rudely introduces herself, because they don't meet the same way, they actually meet. Minami's in her room and AJ goes in, and she's like, whoa, I'm tired, and she just passed out in the bed. And Minami's like, oh, you're my roommate, and AJ's like, yep. And then she's like, okay, bye. After she was like, are you Korean? Minami's like, no, I'm Japanese. And she's like, oh, that's too bad, because, you know, AJ speaks Korean. And she's like, oh, most people just assume I'm Chinese. Oh my god, the cringe. Past me, man. And so anyway, AJ goes off to explore and gets drunk, actually. And Minami just putters around campus, where I have voiceovers of people saying things that were going to happen that never happened in South, because they were supposed to, I was going to have a sister school in China where they go over to China kind of thing. That didn't happen, obviously. And so I have, and there was things where during your studio time, you could visit other people's classes and just sit on them. And that was going to be a big thing in South, and then that got cut completely. But so anyway, while Minami's checking it out and hearing all the exposition dump around her, side note, this empty lot used to be this big castle hotel. It was shaped like a castle, and it was out of business for years, and it was super creepy, and we went there on Halloween to check it out, and it was super sketchy, and we loved that. But now it's gone, and it's really sad. Yeah, anyway, so then Minami is on a stage, and this is when she wasn't afraid to sing in front of people. In South, she's like super shy and she won't do it. But here she's like belting out some Korean song I was into at the time. And Mark happens to find her because it's the vocal area, and he does the most racist thing ever. He's like yelling at her, like, do you speak English? He's like, yeah, why do people do that and assume I don't speak English, and like, or why do they assume like what, that like am I deaf or something? Yeah, so that happened, and then they become friends, and they go, eventually they all meet in Derek's room. Long story short, because Derek actually talked like a Victorian butler, because he was all proper and polite, and they meet, and there's so much cringe that happened that got cut before I rewrote it into the other comic version of South. We're gonna cross, by the way, before not when there's cars coming. But yeah, they go to Derek's room, because AJ actually had a stalker at the time. There was actually going to be like 2 types of villains for each, Minami and AJ. And Minami, it was going to be Hazel and her boyfriend Cyrus. Cyrus actually gets reused as a character, but completely different and revamped for Booktube, by the way. So look out for that. But Hazel is just mentioned, I think in South, but she got cut. I think she actually has a line, but she's still cut, essentially. They were going to bully Minami and blackmail her because they were vandalizing the school with question authority stuff, and they stole her sketchbook and to like say, hey, this is her, and they had to like go and delete the files off the security camera before getting caught. That was in the more revised version of South, but yeah, and for AJ, she had stalker from Korea, her ex-boyfriend, different name than what he's mentioned in South, and there is a lot of stuff going on here that wasn't going on here before. We're just gonna cross all of that stuff. Yeah, so yeah, the stalker was he was stealing money from her dad for her tuition. So this is also a crossline OG's comic to other OG comic stuff. But yeah, he was stealing money so that AJ would not be able to stay in the school. And I don't know if those are my students or not. So yeah, there was a whole plot for that. And it was just insane. That was before even Parker showed up and did her thing, which that remained. It just happened earlier. So yeah, what a wild ride all of that was, wasn't it? I had no idea how to go about, gotta wait for lights, how to go about any of that stuff. I just was making shit up as I went, and you can do that. And those kids are probably like, what is she doing? That's exactly what they're thinking. So yeah, you can make shit up as you go. I think that's called pantsing. I don't know, but yeah, wasn't very good at it because you do have to have like a goal in mind. Otherwise, you're literally not gonna know anything like I did. Also, it's just really all terrible. So yeah, I just wanted to share the origins of South, how it got to be where it is today, and all its extreme, very cringe. And I did share a few cringe chapters. If I remember, I'll put one of the videos here, and one of them's animated. If I remember, I'll also share that one sometime soon. So yeah, if you want some cringe, you should go check them out, because yeah. And this was an extremely long video, mostly because I'm walking around. Also, Lake Park, love this place. So, oh, that's someone calling for someone else. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you sticked around. Remember, if you like this video, give it a boop, and boop that like button. And if you don't, I will lick you on the nose, and none of us want that. So yeah, crossing the road. And speaking of South, my debut LGBT plus novel, South, came out this time last year. If you want to pick up a copy of it, you could do that. Links are in the description. And if you do, I would appreciate a review on Amazon and or Goodreads. It helps an author out. So yeah, that's all I gotta say for now. If you want to keep hearing more about South, be sure to follow me on all your favorite socials. Links below. Stay safe. Enjoy the spring if you're in an area that's not like Canada, where it's still like snow and snort. But if you're in an area that's all pretty and shit, or enjoy it where there's snow too, or wherever, or summer, because you know, or winter, or I don't know, world time zones. Anyway, enjoy your time. Anyway, stay safe and take care. Bye.